On December 26, 1900, the relief ship Hesperus arrived at the remote Flannan Isles lighthouse off the coast of Scotland. Something was immediately wrong. The flagstaff was bare. No provisions had been prepared on the landing. And most chilling of all, the massive light, visible for 20 miles, was dark. Captain Harvey fired a flare and blew the ship's whistle. No answer. Just the sound of crashing waves and screaming seabirds. Joseph Moore, a relief keeper, rowed ashore and climbed the 160 steep steps to the lighthouse. He found the entrance gate closed, but the front door unlocked. Inside, the kitchen fire was dead. A meal of cold meat and pickles lay untouched on the table. A single chair was overturned, as if someone had jumped up in a panic. The clock on the wall had stopped. 3 veteran keepers had vanished into thin air, leaving behind a mystery that would haunt Scotland for a century. To understand why this disappearance is so baffling, you have to know the men. These weren't amateurs. James Ducat was the principal keeper, a family man with 22 years of experience. Thomas Marshall was the second assistant, known for his reliability. Donald MacArthur, the occasional keeper, was a tough veteran of the trade. Lighthouse keepers in 1900 operated under strict military-like discipline. Rule number 1: the lighthouse must never be left unattended. At least one man must always remain inside to monitor the light. Yet Moore found the lighthouse completely empty. Their oilskins, rain gear suggested a puzzle. 2 sets were missing, but one set, Donald MacArthur's, was still hanging on its peg. This meant one man had gone out into a storm in his shirt sleeves, or he never left the building willingly. The logbook entries leading up to the disappearance would only deepen the mystery. The logbook found by Joseph Moore contained entries that made no sense. On December 12th, Thomas Marshall wrote of severe winds, the likes of which I have never seen before in 20 years. He noted that Principal Keeper Ducat was very quiet, and MacArthur was crying. This is terrifying context. MacArthur was a hardened seaman known for brawling. Why would a storm make him cry? And here is the impossible part. Weather reports from the nearby Isle of Lewis showed that on December 12th, 13th, and 14th, the weather was calm and peaceful. There was no storm. Yet inside the lighthouse, these men were seemingly besieged by a hurricane that existed only for them. The final entry on December 15th read simply, "Storm ended, sea calm. God is over all." After that, silence. The clock stopped. The light died. Searching for answers, the relief crew went down to the West Landing. What they found there looked like the aftermath of a giant's rage. An iron box containing supply ropes, wedged firmly into a crevice, had been completely smashed. Iron railings along the path were bent and twisted like wire. A block of stone weighing over a ton had been dislodged and thrown onto the grass. This damage suggested a force of nature beyond comprehension. Possibly a rogue wave, a wall of water 100 feet high that slammed into the island, sweeping everything away. The theory is that 2 men went out to secure gear during a sudden squall, and the third, seeing a monster wave approaching, ran out to warn them without his coat. And then the ocean simply took them all. But the rogue wave theory doesn't explain everything. It doesn't explain the phantom storm in the logbook. It doesn't explain why experienced men would violate safety protocols, or why one chair was overturned in the kitchen, suggesting a sudden interruption indoors. To this day, the Flannan Isles remain uninhabited. The lighthouse is automated now, its beam cutting through the darkness without human hands. But locals still say that on windy nights, you can hear the names of the 3 keepers carried on the wind. Did they fall victim to a freak wave, madness, or something darker rising from the deep? We may never know. Let us know your theory in the comments. And remember, Some lights are best left unlit. Subscribe for more stories from the dark.